Hey, Changemakers! Welcome to another episode of the Empower Hour show for Changemakers. And I am here live with Jennifer Kelly of New Marketing Initiatives, New Initiatives Marketing. And I am really excited to talk to her about unlocking your B2B success for fractional CMO strategies. And we're going to just figure out what the heck that means. So it's gonna be a lot of fun, and I met Jennifer several years ago. She's a serial entrepreneur, just like myself, and it's so nice to be reconnecting with her. So Jennifer, welcome. Um, I'll start by just sharing a little bit about you, and then I'll hand it over to you so that you can share a bit about yourself, and we can dive into this topic that we're tackling today. So, Jen Kelly leads New Initiatives Marketing, a marketing company serving uh, growing Canadian and American B2B companies in the technical services, industrial, and non-food manufacturing sectors. And they offer fractional chief marketing officer and expert marketing team services. Prior to NIM in 2009, Jen gained 17 years of experience with marketing departments in corporations here in Canada and abroad, and she's worked with marketing teams on the Financial Times UK, in London, and back in Canada at Siemens and Motorola. Jen also owns a Kelowna-based sports nutrition company called Inner Armour, which she and her two business partners bought in 2020. And their protein powders are sold globally. So I'll have to tell my son about that, who's a workout man and takes protein powders. So good to know about that.
Right.
Wow. So yeah, you're multifaceted.
Yes.
Multifaceted.
Yes. No time for hobbies.
I hear you. I hear you. Entrepreneurs, we're busy people, very busy people. Jen, thank you so much for being on today's podcast. So let's dive into this topic. So, what the heck does fractional CMO strategies? What does this mean, and how does it differ than a traditional marketing agency?
Sure. Yeah. It's so funny in our industry. I guess this happens in other industries too, but we fill in a lot of the messaging with all this nomenclature and fancy words and stuff like that. But it actually doesn't make a lot of sense. So let me dissect it and then explain how it is. So Chief Marketing Officer, so CMO, if you ever heard of CMO being referred to, that's the short form. Fractional, meaning not full time. So coming in to help a business at the chief marketing officer level, but not being a full-time employee. The fractional executive, or that kind of service, it was pioneered about 10 to 15 years ago by chief financial officers. So they were fractional CFOs, and what they would do is lend their services or be hired on a fractional basis into smaller and medium-sized companies that needed that kind of guidance, needed that kind of advice or vision or plan set up, but didn't need that type of role, 40 hours a week, full time. And what would happen is that would allow the smaller, medium-sized business to get that kind of advice and guidance at a fraction of the price, fraction of the time. And then, the plan could be executed by folks at more junior levels within the financial world and help that company grow. So for a long time, it was the fractional chief financial officers that were the only fractionals you ever heard of. And lately, maybe 2022, 2021, we've seen the fractional executive, explode a little bit more into, you see fractional HR, IT, that kind of thing. So this is the same thing, fractional chief marketing officer. And what that allows a company to do is bring in I get the seasoned experience and the advice and the guidance for marketing. And the company is able to gain, in our case, our services, gain a marketing strategy that then can be executed by more junior level, either staff or other fractionals, in order to get that marketing done. And so you get all the benefits of all the experience and all the guidance without having to carry a full-time employee of that, I guess, that financial weight. And to be honest, while the small and medium-sized companies can for sure benefit from some seasoned guidance, it would be overkill to have that happen, to have that, that need every single day.
Mm-hmm. So, how did you land into this type of work? I mean, obviously, you have a tremendous experience as a marketer and as a business owner, so I can see the segue. But maybe you could tell us in your own words why you
Sure.
were drawn to this particular style of business.
Yeah, sure. Well, the company, so New Initiatives Marketing, so it's not just me. In the fractional chief marketing services we have, it's not just me. We have other fractional chief marketing officers that work on the different projects and accounts. So if there's any fractional chief marketing officers out there that want to come and do marketing and not go and do their own business development, we're always looking to add to the team. But how did we get here? So New Initiatives Marketing, I started it back in 2009. It was just me. I was doing freelancing and marketing consulting. This was a result of a layoff, the Great Recession, the financial crisis, that whole time. So I was laid off, and that's how I started this. And then as growing through the years in the services and the way that I structured the company, I expanded to more than just myself. And we were basically an outsourced marketing department for companies. After coming through COVID, I wanted to do a revamp on the company and really see where should we go now. Things have changed in the work world. Things have changed in many of the industries that we served. And how should New Initiatives Marketing change as well? So we actually ate our own dog food, if you will, and hired an external marketing consultant to do strategy work on our company. So reposition us and see what our strategy should be. And out of that research and the customer interviews and seeing what was going on in the marketplace and where we wanted to compete and where we could compete and what kind of problems were out there that we could help solve, up started to bubble this fractional, I guess, opportunity that we kind of looked at and we kind of went, well, the fractional is doing strategy. We've been doing strategy for a long time with our clients. After the strategy is done, you need the team to execute the strategy. We have the execution know-how and expertise in-house as well. And then if you think about like a chief officer, a chief senior leader at a company, they're not going to be only responsible for their lane. They have to start to understand. So legal's got to understand what's going on with sales, and marketing has to understand what's going on with finance. And it's not just about being the expert sort of in your silo. It's a little bit of a broader calling. To really understand that marketing is here not just to do great campaigns and bring in all those leads, but how can marketing support the rest of the business? And in order to do that and become a marketing department that really is a strategic part of a company, not just, we joke, the arts and crafts department, the logo department, right? Which it can go off the rails if marketing isn't clued into or brought into, it goes both ways, right? What's going on with the company, where the company wants to go. They can't possibly produce a strategy and then, execute upon that strategy to help the company grow. So having that fractional chief marketing officer come in day one, week one, is really looking at what's going on with the company, where does the company want to go? And from there, how can we devise a strategy that marketing can help the company get there? So that kind of thinking was something that we employed and we were doing. We just weren't calling it that. We just called it the marketing. We do marketing strategy, then we execute.
Right.
And so putting the like sort of grabbing hold of that name
Mhm.
That's what, what fit for us. And so that's the reason that we positioned ourselves towards that.
Yeah, and it sets you apart too.
It
I
does.
like
Yeah.
that. I like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, because like even just I mean, I hear that term fractional all the time, and I'm aware of what it means. I was kind of being a bit, facetious there, like saying like I don't know what it means, but at the same time, like it's everybody does their business in a their own way and with their own techniques and skills and uniqueness. So I always like to hear it from the perspective of the owner. So thank you for sharing that. I really appreciate it. So I think you sort of touched on the benefits of it, the fact that you don't have to employ someone full time, that and it sounds like in a way it's not just you. I like that you mentioned that differentiation. It's that you have a team of people so that your business can scale,
Yes.
which is brilliant. So how maybe we could just get specific to how a B2B company can benefit from a fractional chief marketing officer.
Sure. So the best place that we have found that a B2B company would benefit is, well, unfortunately, you got to be in a bit of pain before we can help you, right? So, our best situation is where an established company, and for us, established means 3 years or more. And for us, established means you have either a service or a product that is known in the market. And that is being either produced, consistently, and that you have already systems in your operation. So you have proven to the market you have something. Of course, you probably want to sell more of it to more people, but it's you are not a startup. And so an ideal situation for us is a B2B company that has done phenomenally on sales-led initiatives, meaning that they were out in the marketplace and it's the sales team, it's the CEO, it's sales led, meaning that they're out there selling. And what the pain is that they're finding right now is they're starting to plateau with their sales, or they're starting to hear a lot of pushback on the price, or there's a lot of stall around because there's competitors coming into the market, whereas perhaps they owned that space when they started and rose to the level that they're at right now. And what's happening right now is they don't have any positioning, they don't have any marketing. Those salespeople, as great as they are getting out there, unfortunately, we all know that not everybody's ready to buy from you day one. And so that's where marketing can really help sales with lead nurturing campaigns and keeping those leads warm until sales is ready to tackle it. So the best situation where a B2B company can benefit from this is they're already an established company. They're missing marketing internally. And the reason why they'd want to bring in someone at the fractional chief marketing officer level at that high is because that person can start to link in and see what's going right in sales, where you want to expand, where are the gaps in marketing. Here's how we could plug marketing and really support you. Leave them with the plan, and then that could be executed by I guess more junior level, either staff or other professionals.
Oh, well, that sounds like a really good system, and I like that you mentioned the sales aspect of it, and I think that's a skill set that a lot of marketers and people in communications, they sometimes are a little bit shy around that aspect of it. I think it takes a special skill set, so I think that really differentiates what you do, and I like that you explain that. Do you bring your tools in? Do you get like, does your when you become a part of the company as a fractional CMO, do they access your tools as well? Like assuming like sales tools?
Yes. Yeah. And just on the sales thing back there. Yeah. I mean, sales is so hard. Oh my God.
Uh-huh.
I mean, not only the work in order to, prospect and the whole bit, but it's, the emotional rejection. I mean, I was speaking from experience. Like, I still haven't got used to that. It's tough. Holy cow. When you say
One of the hardest things to
oh
do in
man.
the world, but you just have to focus on the fact that you're helping people. And when you can focus on that, I think that makes a difference.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely does. In growing my business, I have forced myself to take sales training because
Mm,
you need it. And what I discovered is very interesting because what I discovered and which through the training is, and they, several of the sales trainers have said, it's not necessarily the loudest person in the room that makes the best salesperson, right? There's tons of quiet salespeople because it's mostly about listening and
yes.
responding to what you need and being able to stay in there, of course, tenacity and follow up. But it's just so interesting, and it really made me think, if I had that kind of training at like 22 when I was starting my career, maybe I would have gone into sales, because I'd always shied away from it, thinking like, oh, you got to be the loudest, you got to be like the funniest, and like that's just not me, right? But if it was yeah, it was, if it was positioned to me like, you can be the quiet one and you can still be helpful and you can still, have success in that kind of industry. I mean, it might have been a whole other trajectory for sure. So, but getting back to your tools. So the tools that we bring, I guess it depends on the client engagement, but our programs do come with, they come with tools. They come with software. So oftentimes, if we're going into a situation where a client has had like there's been no marketing at all, they don't have anything set up, we do bring our subscriptions in, and then that is part of our whole, I guess, our whole program. So it
Mhm.
just really lets. I was going to say lets us kind of be like chief marketing officer plus marketing team, like your whole marketing department in a box. Like we take care of a lot of
Yeah,
that friction for you. If the client is already has some tools or some software that are marketing focused, depending on what it is,
mhm,
we can I guess slot in and start using it.
right.
Where I hesitate on that is we have tried to come up the learning curve on new and different software, as well as come up the learning curve on our services and deploying our work for our clients, and it has just been too much, to be quite honest. Like I have gone with it with that like that blind, yeah, we'll make it work, that blind enthusiasm, and it's just caused frustration on both sides, and it has caused delays, and it just hasn't been so great. So we would evaluate that before we went in somewhere. If there was some software, like can we service this, do we have the experts to help you with this, and whatnot. Most times we can make it work. Not a lot of people are using anything super obscure. But again, if it's completely greenfield, completely new, we come with tools, we come with software, we come with the whole kit to get you up and running.
Oh, that sounds like an amazing offering. Um, so, how do you approach creating a marketing strategy for these clients?
We have a whole process. So our process is it's called strategy first, and uh, to be clear on that, it's not our strategy that we just invented. So as part of growing new initiatives marketing, as part of scaling it and becoming a really reliable marketing company, one of the things I've done is gone and got training on how to build and run like a consultancy, a marketing company, and
Mhm.
part of that has been getting involved with a consultants network led by within marketing. He's quite famous. His name is John Jantz. Really focused on the small, medium-sized businesses, and his company provides a lot of guidance and training on certain strategy programs, certain execution programs, and we are licensed to use his. So the strategy first. If you hear of John Jantz talking about that, so that is the very same one that we use. What's neat about that? It's been tried and true, and it's been installed in thousands, literally, of businesses throughout North America. So when a client comes in and we're talking about the strategy, we're not trying out anything on you. This is vetted. This is right. And the neat thing about being involved in John's consultancy training network is, as things change in the market, as things change with Google, as things change, everywhere, the strategy program keeps up with that for sure. So we do have a whole strategy program. Right now, it's a 60-day program. And on day 61, we can get to work starting to execute on it. So everything that we come up with is information and is our campaigns and initiatives that it's possible to execute, and we can do that.
Yeah, it's important to have a process or a framework, and I love that you have that. And I actually hadn't heard of that system, so I'll definitely check out your contact and see the work that he does. That sounds really interesting. I when I was setting up a startup with two co-founders, we use the EOS entrepreneurial operating system after reading the book Traction and by Gino Wickman. And that book really helped us to realize that, you have to put a lot of planning and set very measurable goals, rocks as they call them. So
Right.
for us, it really helped us to get a good process in order, because when you're working with a team, everybody needs to know what they're aiming for, what that gold star is.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Um, so thanks for sharing that. Just while we're still on the structure, can you just explain how you come up with the costing? Like, is it an hourly rate
Mm.
that you charge, or is it a retainer? How does that work?
It's definitely not an hourly rate. And the reason for that is nobody wins with the hourly
Yeah.
rate at all. I mean, so, okay, we'll leave that lecture there. Okay. All right. So what we do is, um, I guess our signature program is a year-long program, so it is 12 months. And depending on what the client needs, and what I mean by that is how many product lines do you have? How many regions are you in? Are we devising a strategy for Canada, or are we going Canada, Mexico, US, with 4 different product lines? So it really depends what is needed, the
Mhm.
volume of work that is needed. And then we give a price for the year and chop that up by 12, and it's a flat invoice rate once a month. What is neat about that is the client can then figure out their cash flow based on this. We don't go hourly. And one of the reasons as well we don't go hourly is so that, it's just known in the nature of running a marketing department. Sometimes it's all hands on deck. Sometimes it's a little lighter. And
Mm,
so it all balances out in the end, and we don't want the client scared of what's the invoice this month.
yeah.
As well, in our promise, or in it really is our promise to be your marketing department. We
Mhm.
don't want people hesitating to ask for a Zoom call or ask for a meeting because they think they're close to being over hours. We're here
Mhm.
to get a certain amount of work done for you, a certain amount of results, and we price it that way. That works well on the client side. It also works well on our team size. So most of the people that we pull in will be other experts. And what I mean by that is, say, for example, your content writer,
Right.
having a few content writers on staff. That can be a problem because certain information comes in, or certain industries, we'll land a client in a certain industry, and it's best if we go get a writer that really knows that industry, for example. So we want the freedom to be able to choose the best people to be on in your marketing department, rather
Mhm.
than the best available we just have here. So a lot of the people that make up the project teams are other small business owners, other consultants, and that is their full-time job to do that work. And with them, what I need to do is commit to them. You have a certain amount of work over the next 12 months, and here's the deliverables. And for them, I want them to be focused on the work, not worrying about having to, hand in timesheets and that kind of thing. And then we all know on the hourly side of things that sometimes you're in flow and you get so much done in 45 minutes, and other times it's taking you 6 hours to do something that you're like, it's not my first day. What's going on? So
We all have those days. So if you were doing a case study on some of your clients' success, what would you say the return on investment is for the average client that you have on this type of service?
The return on investment, you want
Like
numbers?
just
Is
to,
what
well,
you're looking for?
not specific, but like,
Mhm.
I would imagine that at a certain point, your clients are looking to see, like, is this paying off?
Yes.
And, do you have any feedback about, like, how long does it take to pay off? And do you continue to create growth goals to continue to scale? Um, yeah, I'm just curious from that
Sure.
perspective because I'm just asking the questions that probably a lot of people, you know, we get shy around investing, but you've got to invest in order to grow.
Yeah, yeah, you do. Okay, so I can share some general numbers. Absolutely.
Yeah,
So, okay, just knowing everybody is different, right? Some
yeah,
people are
of
starting
course.
from absolutely, we're just learning how to spell marketing internally. Others have done fits and starts and stuff and, want to get it to really, into a solid system, right? So it depends
Mhm,
where everybody is at.
of course.
So if you think of it from I guess, a staffing point of view or a money point of view, if you're bringing in our program, so chief marketing officer, abilities plus the expert marketing team to actually get it all done. You're having a marketing department come in there.
Mhm,
We're starting, and then you got your tools, you got your software. You
mhm.
don't have any people management worries. We worry about all that. And then, if you ever want to let us go, it's 30 days notice. So really, very, very easy that way. We're starting at $15,000 a month. So if you imagine that right off the bat, how am I supposed to staff a marketing department at that rate, plus get
Right.
all the software, plus have everybody knowing what to do day one, plus have everybody getting along, plus
Mhm.
have everybody being able to, achieve. So there is that. And then once we get into whatever it is we're doing, if we're doing something around, a trade show strategy, for example, how much did you spend last year? What happened last year? Here's the things that we can put together in order to make that trade show either more profitable or uh, show you how you're not just coming home and forgetting about the leads. Actually, as we're going to help you and the salespeople warm up and keep those leads going, how many deals actually this year can come in from that trade show, and then we can do the math that way. So that would be an example of that.
Thank you. I appreciate your transparency on that just because, like, some people, probably have no clue what it might look like. So that gives them an idea. So thanks so much for that. So how do you stay updated on the latest marketing trends and technologies? I mean, I always see you out there. You're always sharing your wisdom. So I know you must be doing just that. But is there anything that you read or listen to or events that you attend that really keep you solid in this capacity?
Yeah, there's a lot. There's so much, there's there's so much. I mean, it's a fascinating industry, and sometimes it just kind of feels like, okay, Instagram, could you just stay where you are at
I
for
know.
2 weeks, please? Can you just stay? Yeah. So yeah, we feel it too, right? So where do I go? So I listen to a few different podcasts, and I listen to so I also do subscribe to a lot of the newsletters. So I'm subscribing to newsletters about the various different aspects of marketing. So we got SEO coming in the inbox, we have stuff on analytics. So, and as you can imagine, as probably everybody does, you're filled with newsletters every single day, right? So I do go through that, and that has been pretty helpful. And then with this marketing training, so with John Jantz's group, we are updated, more specifically on how to deliver what has changed in the market to your clients,
Oh, okay.
or quite seriously, how to ignore it. And ignoring it, not
Mhm.
putting your head in the sand, but what, that change or these shifts or these attitudes don't affect our market. So while we know about it, our strategy is sound, or our skills are sound in this area for right now.
Oh, that's great. So, uh, what trends do you think are coming in B2B marketing that we should be preparing for?
Well, okay, so I'm not going to talk about AI. So, because
Yeah.
that's kind of obvious, and I'm not the expert on it, right? But
Yeah.
that is coming, or that is here. I can. I don't know if you. Well, I was going to say, well, we're live, so let me talk a little bit about it. Some of the hesitation I've seen around it has
Mhm.
been with some of. So we're in marketing, so that lends itself to creative writing. Not creative writing, but the writing is the creative part. The images are the creative part. The strategies are the creative part. And there is some concern that AI, ChatGPT, people can just go and get the blogs done in ChatGPT, and where are we now? But here's the thing, and I tell the writers, so with our focus on working with companies that may not have had marketing before, we're working with a lot of companies that have a lot of expertise in their industry,
Mhm.
but they haven't really talked about it before. And one of the common things that we'll hear from clients early on is, we're the best kept secret. Like, we're way better than these other people in our industry. But like, why doesn't anybody know about us? Well, because you haven't talked about it. And pulling out very interesting information from either the executives, the salespeople, the engineers that have created this contraption or this new service, and that's where we typically focus. We're in B2B, we're in the industrial space, we're in the tech services space. So there's oftentimes an invention and a different way of doing things and a point of view on that. So we're here to try and get that out. So you can't just tell your lead engineer, why don't you just type some things into Chat GPT and come up with a blog about and it'll capture your point of view and we'll put that out into the market. I mean, they're not going to do it. They have, first of all, other things to do, but also too, there's a craft and a warmness and a expertise that is needed in order to pull out that excellent information from these experts that we're now serving.
Mhm.
And that right now, that can only be done by an expert writer who's got a great sense on how to interview, how to make someone feel at ease, how to dig into their story, and really how then to take all that information, and when we write it and we're creating it out in either solution briefs, white papers, blogs, website content, really trying to differentiate that company and that executive. That's the human touch, and we're
Yes.
finding it really does work on a couple of different ways. It takes them, they sit down with us for an hour, and we have like 4 pieces of content from them. And also too, they're starting to find their voice and being able to explain what they do either a little more succinctly, better, sharper. And we know when we're getting to some places when they come to maybe it might take a couple of meetings, a couple of these interviews, but meeting 3 or 4, they're like, I have some ideas, and we're like, yes, all right, so they're really feeling that. So got off on a bit of a tangent there, but what I see with B2B is it's moving, a combination of moving faster
Mhm.
than it has before. We have been asked to, whereas previously a strategy might be good 3 to 5 years, we're asked for what can we do this year? What's a good 12-month outlook? And then what do we do if things change? Like, how have you built in, like, we can't see what's going to change right now, but we probably know there's either some kind of regulation, some kind of competition, something going on with the workforce, something's going to change and we're going to need to adjust quicker than we probably want to.
Mm.
How have you baked in things so that we're able to be flexible with this strategy? So we hadn't seen that previously. So, and I think that's a neat thing too. While we're asked to sort of severely alter how we do the strategy, it's also a testament to business leaders really embracing the fact that everybody says change is the only constant, but really when they're asking for a strategic plan to have the ability to be flexible, that they're really looking out on the horizon and they don't want to be caught short.
No, not at all. And have you found that the CEOs that you're working with, are they concerned about the current state of the market and it seems like inflation is stabilizing, and interest rates are starting to go down, and things are looking a little more positive. What's the outlook that the CEOs that you work with, how are they feeling about business these days?
Generally positive. With dealing with that type of leader, it's generally positive. It's generally they're the ones that are wanting so
Calm.
much, right? They're just like, could you give us more? Can you do it by tomorrow? You know what I mean? Like they're really they're really driving. The concerns that they have shared with me are some concerns about team, so staff. So we're not an HR company, right? So
Right.
we usually only get told or get into conversations around the marketing. However, when we're doing the strategy, you have to be able to see what's going on in the whole company. So concern for and making sure that either it's their staff or their team or their contractors or whoever it is, the people that are helping to run the company are okay, are happy, are pursuing their skill development in their own area as well. So that is concerning to them. And it is concerning to them about profit margin too. So how are we going to do this well, keep the customers that we have, keep them happy, and grow our business? And you can only really grow the business if you have the funding to do so.
Yes, absolutely, and the right team, which
Yeah.
you help to provide. So that's important. Uh, so one question that I wanted to ask you is just like for entrepreneurs in general that maybe don't have the financial funding right away to work with someone or a team like yourselves. Uh, what can they do in the meantime before they get to the point where they could use services like yours? Like what are some important things that they should be focusing on to get to that level?
hmm we do have a training program where we train
Oh,
teams to do the strategy that we do as well. So they could come and get trained by us. It's a half-day program, so they could do that. Other things to think about is it would be if they could get in their mind that marketing can help your company grow,
mhm.
but you got to be clear on where your company is going to go, and then you think about how marketing is going to help that. And so, what I mean by that is, so we're in Canada. Let's say the idea is your company is launching into Alberta. Okay,
Right.
everything that you're going to do with marketing in order to support that launch needs to be focused on Alberta. And I know that may sound a little bit obvious, but I wanted to make a really obvious example there because
Mhm.
it's so easy for marketing to just attract people about this trade show or this Facebook ad or this here or going to speaking there. And they can all be great things. There's so many things that you can do in marketing, and they can all help your company, but not all at once. So
Right.
if they could really think about, well, what's my company going to do, and how can marketing help me do exactly that, that would really help them focus in. Then when they went and decided what to do with marketing, where to look. So for example, if you are if it's the finances and you're not ready to bring in a large team like ours,
Mhm.
a couple of things right off the bat I would say to do immediately: get your company newsletter up and running. And what I mean about that is, yeah, I'm going to assume, even though this is a smaller company, they have sales, so that you have some kind of customers. I
Yes.
want you to start a company newsletter, and I want you to
Mhm.
mail at least once a month. And the reason I want that to happen is because your newsletter, everybody on your list is yours. It's yours. It's yours. All those people on Instagram and Facebook, those and your LinkedIn connections, that can be taken away tomorrow. That can be
Mhm.
changed. The algorithm can change the whole bit. You do want to use those channels, but first get a newsletter going so people are hearing from you on the cadence that you want to talk to them. And having someone's email address, and it's kind of like you're invited into their living room, whether they open or not. That's another story. Another thing I want to say, though, at least you're not unsubscribing, right? But your
Yes.
newsletter does not have to have wild, crazy, news in it. Maybe the word newsletter is misleading, but your newsletter can be used to warm up your leads, keep your leads warm, keep your existing customers. Say you have a product they buy, they replenish once a year. What are you going to do and talk to them the other 11 months of the year? You want to let them know what's going on in your company. You want to let them know the point of view you have with certain changes, perhaps in your industry. You might want to let them know what's coming down for a launch in your company. You want to let them know what you're doing to go out and promote yourself. You want to you can use a lot of questions that you may get in the sales conversations and the sales presentations. Any of those objections, you can use those as information for your next newsletter, because you can bet if one of your customers has questions or objections, many more than them will. And if you can answer them and get ahead of that but before the person is ready to buy, you've just eliminated their objections. So that would be the number one thing I would say. If you're not financially ready to bring in a team or hire a marketing company, get your company newsletter going, and you can start it either for very low money or actually free by using some of the email marketing software out there. It's not the simplest thing to do in half an hour, but if you spent an hour a week on it and just was consistent with sending it out once a month, that would be something that you would be probably beating 75% of the businesses out there. And I'm not kidding.
I'm so glad you said that. It's almost as if you were we're like sharing the same brain, because I teach I teach user engagement and CRM at at York, and so we talk about strategies to build a newsletter and how important it is, because you're right. So I just saw a friend of mine's and I felt so bad for her. I saw her Instagram account has been hacked, and I had mine hacked. I had like 3,500 followers on Instagram, gone. I can't get it back. And, unfortunately, Instagram's customer service support is brutal. Um, just couldn't get it back. So, that really drives me crazy, the fact that social media it's important, and definitely you should choose your favorite one to be on there, but don't put all of your eggs in one basket. So thank you for bringing up that really important advice. So to the change makers listening, if you have a question for us, we are getting close to the end of our time, but we would like to answer any marketing questions that you might have. So feel free to introduce yourself. Let us know what marketing challenges that you might have. And if you have any questions about how to work with a CMO and also a fractional CMO, let us know. And also, if you do want to leave a comment after the fact on any of the social media channels that this is broadcasted on, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, you can leave us a question and we can certainly get back to you with those answers. So, do introduce yourself if you happen to be listening and you want some live advice right now. But while we're waiting for that, if we do have anyone who needs some support, why don't we start wrapping things up with your 3 power moves? What are 3 power moves that our change makers can get started on right now?
So 3 marketing power moves in their own business.
Yeah, or whatever you wanted to share, that you think that could help them, whether it's how to interview for a fractional CMO service, or whatever
Okay.
you want to
Yeah, I got lots of advice.
share. I'm
Okay.
sure you do.
So if you're running the company, we just talked about the newsletters. That would be a good economical way to get ahead marketing wise. I don't know if I can use that as one, but I'll try some others as well.
Sure.
Okay, so sticking with the business owner, number 2, really do talk to your salespeople, or if you're the salesperson, after every sales call, whether it's gone well or it hasn't gone well, jot down those questions that were asked. Even if let's say you nailed the questions and you got the deal, make sure or those questions can be excellent blog topics. Because you can bet, again, if some people are asking them, others are going to ask them, and that's the kind of information that if it's out there and you're answering those questions in a very full way, it can make you look like the expert and can make you start to appear more trustworthy. And the neat thing about being able to answer those questions, and I'm thinking either doing a blog on your website, or you're probably all on LinkedIn, so even an article on LinkedIn, it gives you enough time to get all your points across that you want to, and that can really help. So there's two things for a business owner. If you're on the other side of the desk and you're doing the marketing consulting, or want to get into that, or want to be a fractional CMO, or you are a fractional CMO, and one of the things is about, I guess, the environment nowadays. This is a great time to either start or grow your own consulting business or your own expertise in this area. The hesitation about working with people virtually is pretty much gone. The idea of fractional work, whether you talk about yourself as a fractional or not, the idea of some short-term, say 6 months or less type of work in order to help businesses is very much needed and very much accepted. And it can be a great way to open the door to, more longer term contracts. As well, if you're doing your own thing within marketing, marketing is one of those industries where, the SEO people can't survive on their own. The WordPress people can't survive on their own. We all kind of need to be a part of a department. So don't be shy about contacting other agencies to either have them subcontract under you, or you offering your services to subcontract under them. We all know there's so much work out there. Even if you have the best in-house marketing team with all the A players, you're still going to have holes in your team with the skills or the ability to deliver. So there's lots of room for opportunity here.
Can I just interrupt for, like, you're
Yeah.
speaking my language. It's the whole concept of a co-opetition, right? Where we cooperate with each other, we collaborate with each other, we look for ways to support each other. I actually find that entrepreneurs are, for the most part, very collaborative, because it can be very lonely. And
Mm.
when you can support each other, build partnerships, collaborations, and like you said, you never know when you're going to get busy, and you need to know people in your industry who do the same things. And so that there's an opportunity to refer business. And so I think that is, along with your other advice, so spot on. So thank you for sharing that, because I think when new entrepreneurs get into building their business, sometimes they're very paranoid about people stealing their ideas, or, there's that feeling of threat, and it's just not wise. That's why, I mean, maybe I'm not necessarily, people may disagree with me, but the whole concept of the BN, I forget what it's called, BNI. Yeah, I think it's BNI. It's those networking organizations where they only have one of each person. I just never got that. I think it's that approach doesn't work for me personally.
Yeah,
Um, I've
agree.
always found that partnerships and sharing, even just sharing challenges. Years ago, I worked with other women organizations, and we would get together every couple of months, and we would just talk about, some of the challenges that we were having, and we would support each other. And we even planned a cooperative event where we invited all kinds of different women's organizations to come together so that they could meet all of us at once,
Oh,
right?
wow.
Because we're
Yeah.
never, no one is, everybody has a niche
Yeah.
and a certain skill set, and so, anyways, I'm babbling, but I just think
No,
you're
it's so true.
really
Or
on there.
even if you're evenly matched to some competitor, a personality type,
Yep.
like the whole bit. I mean, there's so much business out there. So I'm totally in agreement with your attitude there.
Yeah. So I don't know if we got through two or three. So is there anything else you wanted to share? Because I kind of cut you off there. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. The last one, I mean, this may sound kind of funny, but so for both the owners and the freelancers or the marketing professionals, around the mindset, and just know that it's a tough road, and just because it's tough doesn't mean you're not cut out for it.
Hmm.
It's just tough. It's tough to grow a company. It's tough to be a professional out there trying to land your next deal. It can be tough, and just to know it's a tough road, and yeah, just because it gets tough doesn't mean you're not cut out for it. I just can't say that enough, because I mean, I think most of us know it's not, smooth sailing all the time, but sometimes when it gets tough, we just kind of think like, oh my goodness, okay, like back to it. It's not my first day. Why is this so hard? But it's a hard road. It is rewarding. But yeah, don't let some of the setbacks actually set you back. Just be like, okay, this is part of it. It's not the best day, or I lost the deal or whatever. But you're still cut out for this, and yeah, keep going.
Yeah, don't let your failures define you. Um, learn from
Yeah.
them. Learn from them. Vinita is listening, and she's actually been one of our um, past guests on our
Ah,
podcast. She talked about being a calm, confident leader, and she supports principals, new principals, helps to mentor them, to support them in their journey in navigating being a principal. Not an easy thing to do, but we all need mentors. And she just said that she really appreciates your advice about social media and keeping contact lists. And she loves the idea of questions as blog topics. And another little tip is looking at the keywords that your competitors are searching, or your customers are searching, or things related to your topics. Those, like how do those questions that people might, like you said, might be asking. They're also out on the Google search engines and stuff. So you can think about topics through that. And certainly, of course, ChatGPT can give you lots of content ideas to create a content calendar, that sort of thing. And then, just don't use it to create the content. Use it as a way to research and then fact check what you find out from AI. So thank you so much, Jen, for being a guest on our podcast. I have one more quick question for you.
sure.
Um, you mentioned very quickly that you have people who join your team. So who are you looking for to join as to be a part of your fractional CMO team?
We're looking for other fractional chief marketing officers. So if someone is doing that on their own, and may find it, I would say, may prefer to not do all the sales, and they just want to do the marketing, and that would be a good person for us. B2B focused. And then on our marketing services teams, we're always looking for web designers, web developers, analytics people, project managers within marketing, email marketing specialists, graphic designers, content writers, and white paper writers. So if you think of your whole ultimate marketing department, we do need all those services.
Mhm.
And so that's who we're constantly looking for.
Great. Well, we have a job board, so
Oh,
we
good. Okay.
love to support you. Would love to support you. Well,
Great.
I'm going to
Thank
wrap
you.
things up so that you can get to your next meeting. We have one more question that's come in, and maybe we can answer it afterwards. But this is my Naomi Street Foods from Nigeria is really struggling here to make people embrace the new challenges of marketing and strategy, and how they are moving so fast in the digital side of things. So just wondering if I don't know if we really have time to answer that question. Um, perhaps we can follow up to the comment on YouTube.
Um, yeah. Well, first of all, on this, could I take a 30-second stab at it?
Oh, please.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
know that you have a meeting to get to.
I do gotta go, but I mean,
Yeah.
this is important too.
Okay.
So I guess number one is so here's the thing, right? Like, don't lose faith on this yet. The challenges of marketing and strategy, how they're moving so fast, especially on the digital side. Okay, so do you know, Lee? Do you know, is this person a marketing company? Do they do the marketing consulting? I'm just trying to
I think
get
he
some
owns a
context.
business, and so marketing is a part of the getting clients,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Okay,
I'm
okay,
assuming, I really don't know, to be honest with you.
okay.
I just love the fact that that
There's a question.
yeah.
There's a question.
Well, they
Go
that
ahead.
well, this is a he comes every the I don't know if it's a he or she actually comes every week, and I just really want to help. So
Yeah, absolutely. Well, on that, yeah, I mean, lots of clients are moving so fast, and what I've found is if they're moving so fast, there's lots of overwhelm, and they don't know what to choose. And if they don't know what to choose, they're not going to choose anything. So, if there was a way to just find one marketing thing that would help them and start there, that may be a place where you can get their buy-in. So if I go back to my, my workhorse newsletters, like, okay, forget about everything else for right now. Let's get a newsletter going. Here's why it's economical for you. Here's why you get to keep all the information. This newsletter list will never leave you. And let's get that one going. And then after you can get one marketing initiative going and you can see some success with it, typically the client will start to see, oh yeah, that's working. Here's what else we can build on. So I would say if you could start with one thing that would help the client, or one thing that would help each of your clients, start there, and that can kind of slow them down from the overwhelm.
okay, said they're a digital marketing mentor. Okay, excellent. So I
Oh,
think you've
sorry
given
about
some advice there, and Vanita reminded me of a very important follow-up question. Where can we find more of you, Jen?
that. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay, I am on LinkedIn, Jennifer Kelly. I think there's 500 million Jennifer Kellys, but I'm on there. Hopefully, you can link me down below. On Instagram, Jen Kelly Jen, and then the company is New Initiatives Marketing. Just type that in, and I promise my next company will be shorter named, but like that's that's how you learn, right?
It's a good one. Don't you worry. Well, thank you very much. Let's get you on to your next important meeting. And thank you to everyone that's been listening. Really appreciate it. And we'll see you back next Thursday.